What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. Welcome to your stimulus check update, stimulus package, and infrastructure update and daily news report for Tuesday, August 24th. We actually have some very big news out this morning. I told you guys last night that if we see any updates, if we see any changes with the House of Representatives, I would bring that update to you this morning. I'm going to do that in just a minute. We're also going to dive into stimulus, talk about the stimulus package and where checks are headed. Right now, you see from the title of this video, we are going to see more delays. This is not good news. This is not good news, but I told you guys the other day, and I've told you for the past couple of months, most expect this bill, any possible stimulus that we get, would be coming in September. It would not be coming in August. It would be coming in September. Right now, we're 7 days away, 6 days away from September 1st. So we're pretty close. But like I've said before, this is supposed to be coming in September. So here's what we know. And again, let me know your thoughts on all this stuff down in the comment section below as well. I really appreciate you guys, leaving your comments and questions as well. And also, I just want to thank you guys for watching. Make sure you go ahead, hit that like button if you do enjoy these videos, and also consider subscribing so that I can continue to keep you updated on everything that's going on. So here's what we know as of this morning. Late last night, or actually very early this morning, House Democrats, they tried to pass a vote. They tried to pass the procedural vote for the $3.5 trillion stimulus bill and just get this to move forward. Well, Nancy Pelosi and a group of 9 centrist Democrats, they couldn't come to an agreement. Nancy Pelosi tried to push this deal through. It didn't happen. They don't want to do this. It could ultimately happen today, but reports indicate that the House is pretty much in a standstill. There's nothing that's going to happen today unless one of the sides kind of caves a little bit. Nancy Pelosi's not going to cave. She can't cave. Here's the problem. Nancy Pelosi, she is standing up for the $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill, this big stimulus package, because of progressives. Progressives, there's I think like 94 or 95 progressives in the House of Representatives. And they are going to band together and they will tank any bill that comes before the $3.5 trillion bill. Because that is where all of their priorities are. All of the progressive priorities are included in that $3.5 trillion bill. Which makes it very difficult for Nancy Pelosi to push the bipartisan bill. That's the $1.2 trillion bill. She cannot get that passed because progressives will tank it. In the House of Representatives, Democrats can lose 3 votes. But when there's 90-some progressives that say, we will tank this bill, it's not looking good for Nancy Pelosi. Well, Nancy Pelosi wants to see this $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill pass, and then she will consider, or then she'd put the $1.2 trillion bill on the floor. And progressives applaud this effort. But centrists, they want to see the $1.2 trillion bill get passed first, and then they will consider the passing of the $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill. And that's something that Nancy Pelosi doesn't support. That's something that progressives say that cannot be done. So we will see what happens. But as of right now, what I can tell you is things are at a standstill. But here's where things got very interesting the other day. The other day, Joe Manchin stated he doesn't support that $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill. The price tag is too high. Nancy Pelosi has also stated that the $3.5 trillion is the top line number, so it can only come down from there. We also heard from Senator Kyrsten Sinema's spokesperson, and he came out and said the exact same thing, that Kyrsten Sinema doesn't support the $3.5 trillion bill. So things are not looking good for stimulus at this point because, and I told you this before, according to multiple experts, and again, I'm not an expert. I'm just a guy on YouTube doing these updates, telling you what's going on. I'm reading the news, watching the interviews, going through, lawmakers' tweets and everything in between. And I'm providing you these updates. I'm not the expert, okay? Experts are telling us at this time that if we see the $3.5 trillion bill get cut down, some expect it's going to be anywhere from $2 to $3 trillion when it finally passes. Bernie Sanders says $3 trillion or less, he would not support it. And if one Democratic senator doesn't support it, the bill wouldn't pass. Okay? So experts have been telling us if the bill comes under $3 trillion, it would be a lot less stimulus for you and I. A lot less. It could potentially mean the child tax credit payments, right? They may not get extended or get extended for 4 years. We may see there's absolutely no chance of a stimulus check being included. And again, right now, there's been nothing as far as a stimulus check being thrown into this bill. Some lawmakers, support this. Some lawmakers want to see it. But according to our leaders, Senator Bernie Sanders, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, or President Biden, there's nothing in there for stimulus. No direct stimulus checks like we saw in the $1,200, $600, or $1,400 checks. Those aren't included. So we'll see. But right now, lawmakers say that additional stimulus is needed. They are pushing for more stimulus into these infrastructure bills. They say pushing these infrastructure bills into September, which again is a week away, is not the right move. That needs to pass immediately. Congress will then have to face unemployment benefits, which isn't great because President Biden, Janet Yellen, and the Labor Secretary have all stated they are supporting pretty much the unemployment benefits expiring on September 6th. That was less than 2 weeks away. 2 weeks, and your unemployment benefits expire. That means no $300 per week boost. Means no pandemic unemployment assistance for gig workers and self-employed, and no long-term unemployment. Can't get it. It's done. Congress not only will have to work on the unemployment crisis at that time in just 2 weeks, they will have to figure out the debt ceiling and get Republicans to support it. They need to raise it. They also have to work on the government spending bill for 2022. They're going to have to quickly figure out this eviction ban because we're like 5 weeks away from that. And there's so much more they got to do as well. So right now, some are saying that pushing these two major pieces of legislation back this far, which is essentially just a couple weeks, this is going to hurt the American people's chances of seeing anything go through, which it could. And let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Do you think Nancy Pelosi and the 9 centrist Democrats, they should just suck it up and just pass these bills? Or what do you think? Do you think they should go ahead and pass the $1.2 trillion bill and put the stimulus package in limbo? Or pass the stimulus package and then go and pass the bipartisan bill for $1.2 trillion? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Now, we have seen over the past couple of weeks that a lot of lawmakers are coming out with different ideas for possible stimulus. Let's provide more to the American people. Let's figure out a way. Some of these could work, but according to experts, many of the different provisions that we're seeing, they actually have little support. They have little support not because they are considered stimulus, but because of the crises that we're fighting at this time. We're going through another wave of COVID cases, another surge, which is looking worse than the last one that we went through. We're seeing more than 1,000 deaths per day here in the United States. Just, I think about a month ago, we were about 200 deaths per day. And now we're over 5 times that. So it's not great. We also have seen that many lawmakers are trying to come up with different ideas to help the American people in a possible future emergency. Now, I think this is great. I think, looking into the future is obviously a good idea. I do this all the time. I reflect, what I've done in the past and also, kind of project what I should do in the future. But at the same time, many people, and I think this is true, are urging lawmakers, don't focus so much on the future when we're still in a pandemic. Don't focus so much on future emergencies when we are still dealing with this emergency. Figure out ways to help the American people today. Because if more and more people die, and if we see 1,000 deaths per day over the next month, okay, 300,000 deaths, okay, or actually not 300,000, 30,000 deaths in the next month, if we see 1,000 per day, that's not great. those 30,000 people are not going to care about future emergencies when they were worried about this one. So some are saying, let's figure out this one first, then we can work on the next one. Don't prioritize and spend your time focusing on the future that in an emergency that may or may not ever happen. Let's focus on this one. So we'll see. Now, according to multiple economists, and I always look for these updates, but multiple economists believe providing a fourth stimulus check of $2,000 one-time payment, this would be enough to get the American people through 4 months. Be enough assistance to get us through 4 months. When we had that $1,400 stimulus check, they expected that would last at least 3 months. So $2,000, they're saying about 4 months. This is about $500 per month. What they're saying is if this were to pass in September, we'd most likely see the stimulus by October. We would be good until January. 4 months. Well, then they say, let's reevaluate the situation. Let's see if it's a good idea to pass one more stimulus check to get the American people into the spring. Get us into possibly May 2022. Well, I think this is very interesting because yesterday we also heard Dr. Anthony Fauci come out and say he believes we could have COVID under control by the spring of 2022. Now, he initially said the fall of 2022, but then he said he misspoke. That's the spring of 2022. He said this would require the majority of the other 90 million people who have not got vaccinated just yet. They would need to get vaccinated, or at least the majority of them would. He also went on to say it really depends on how well we do throughout the winter months. So we will see. But according to multiple experts, they do believe that yes, the spring of 2022 is going to be one of those kind of that time period. That will be where we really know, do we have this under control? Is our vaccine working for the Delta COVID variant? Is there a new COVID variant that pops up in the meantime? It's possible. Or do we have to go back to the drawing board and we pretty much start at square one? That's what we're hearing at this time. But it's all these different talks on not only the COVID variants and COVID cases surging, but the amount of Americans not working. About 7 million people are on unemployment. How many of those people are going to get jobs? Well, we'll see. But that's what we know right now. Again, I just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.